Hey, folks, welcome back to the Catholic Coaching Podcast. My name is Matt.
And I'm Erin.
And we are going to be your Catholic coaches for the next 45 minutes. But actually, we're going to be putting our Catholic dating coach hats on today because we're getting ready for Seek. Really excited to share our special guest that we have on here, Taylor O'Brien. I met Taylor at the Cent Ventures conference earlier this year at Notre Dame. We were in the same little cohort together. Really got to know one another, but I got to know and understand her apostolate that she's got, Candid Dating, which is a Catholic speed dating app. They just launched their app, actually.
I love it.
I just downloaded it and actually went through it, and I'm gonna have to ask how do I not get all these inquiries to me, because I was just like, there's no place to select that you are married, because obviously it's not for married people, but I put it in my bio. I'm married. I'm happily married. But nonetheless, she started this app. We're going to get into the backstory for what it is. Also, just the vision that we have for this collaborative partnership that we're going to be doing with the collaborative booth at Seek. Somebody has told me that this never goes over well, to go to a conference and have a co-branded booth. I hear a challenge, and I think that we have got something that is going to be amazing for all the constituents that are coming by for Candid, but also want to enhance their speed dating experience at Seek. Because last year, massive success. Yes. Massive success. There were fire code violations taking place because there was just so many people that wanted to participate in the largest, maybe not, didn't hit the actual metrics for everything like that and make it official in the Guinness books. But the largest speed dating event, we're going to say it, that's ever happened.
We're claiming it until this year.
Until this
upcoming
year. It's just going to get better.
2026. Let's go.
All right. So we're going to be explaining what's going to be happening at the booth, but let's get Taylor on here. Taylor, welcome to the Catholic Coaching Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. What an intro. I'm excited. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, I think the first question, let's just get into the origin story here. Catholic speed dating. There's already Catholic match websites and matchmaking things that are out there, Catholic singles offerings. Catholic speed dating just seems so niche. I'm really curious how this came about. And I'd love to even just give us the origin story and what was the need that you saw that you wanted to fill with Candid?
Yeah. So back right after, well, I guess I should go back even further to what we were previously just talking about. I was engaged out of college. In 2018, that engagement ended, and my life as I know it began. That was, for anybody who has ever been through something like that, it's absolutely awful. I never wish for anyone to experience that. However, looking back was the most beautiful time that I've ever had to spend with our Lord, and just at the foot of the cross, like, okay, I had this desire to get married, to be a wife, to be a mom. And I was doing what I thought I was going down that path, and you said no to that. And so now, where do you want me? What's next for me? I'm totally yours, and I have literally no clue where to go. So I just blew up my life. Could you, Lord, please put my heart back together and then show me what's next? And so I got to walk with our Lord, and very unattached, very single, very stripped down to just Taylor. And we were raised Catholic. I come from a Catholic family, but my parents were both in public education. So we didn't have a lot of Catholic families around us. We're down here in Texas. So a lot of Protestants, great Protestant friends, but had never had a Catholic community. And so part of that kind of healing, I would say, I wanted to go find Catholic women really that were like me, that were out of college, young adults in the dating space, re-entering the dating space, if you're me. And I just wanted to connect with Catholic women. And I started hosting meetups. We had an NFP night at my house. We had jewelry making parties, just all kinds of fun things. And something that always was the topic of conversation was dating. Hey, where are you meeting guys? Where are you meeting good Catholic guys? I don't think any of them exist. And as my page grew, that was in the form of an Instagram page. It's called Candid Communion. But as that page grew, men were finding it and saying, hey, you seem to be like hanging out with these large volumes of women. Where are you guys hanging out? Can you introduce me to your friend? Who's that over there? Like, can you make an intro? And I was kind of in a unique position because I was able to see both sides, right? Like the Catholic single women and the single men. And I was single myself at the time. I had just met my husband and I didn't know it yet, but I thought, why don't we put everyone in a room together and prove that there are plenty of Catholic singles out there that are looking for one another. You can be young and fun and single and Catholic. And there is this group of us all out here looking for one another. And so it really started as a low pressure way to introduce Catholic singles to one another. And that was in the form of a speed dating event that I did online. I just put a Google Doc to my stories and we had 400 signups in less than 48 hours. And I said, Lord, what have you gotten me into? I can't serve all these people. Like there was no way to host that many people. And at that point, I didn't even really know, to be honest, like what form I was going to host it on. I just knew it would be online somehow. Found a website. It was called Wonder, but it was right out of COVID that this all happened. And so everyone was used to being online, and it was an online networking website for businesses, for corporate America. And so I kind of manipulated it a bit to be for speed dating. So that was how the first event happened back in 2021. And the floodgates kind of opened from there. As the Lord has brought me through this whole journey. I talked for a while, so I'll pause. And if there's anything that I need to.
Yes. Yeah, I love it. And I love, have people come to you after and they're like, I met my spouse? Like, have you seen like success from the speed dating, from that particular way of introducing people? Yes.
So the first initial thing that we thought, okay, maybe there's something here. So I did this with my husband that, again, we didn't know at the time he was going to be part of this. And then, or that he was my husband, a friend that I grew up going, who was in my parish. We met after college. We'd been in the same parish together, but kind of met when we both came home, and he was helping me kind of on the business side of everything. And he met his wife through this first speed dating event. He actually pulled her card out of the stack that we had. So neither one of them made it to the actual speed dating event, but they got an exception. They ended up dropping out, getting married, and they're my business partners now. So we run Candid together. But something that everyone said after that first event was it was really disarming. Like it was a way that was low pressure. You got to actually have a conversation. People said they liked it better than the swiping because you get to show up as a full person. Yeah. And I had my own experience with the dating apps. And I think, praise God for all the marriages that have come from the apps, like that are doing their job. But the longer we have them and the more we're able to hide behind a photo, or the more that we feel, kind of objectified in the way of, if we can just speak freely, and what that's doing to our culture and our dating pool. I think people were kind of relieved to be able to just show up as themselves and just be themselves, and then also be in a place where you can meet a lot of singles and kind of meet them at one time. So you're not, going on a date that didn't go well, or trying again. We're introducing you now. We introduce you to 5 to 7 singles in one night. So you're able to meet a good amount of people in a very low pressure way that you can show up as yourself.
I love it. I would have loved something like that. And I think there's something that you said about disarming people, especially Catholics. I think there's that thought, just kind of based off of a lot of these responses that we're getting,
feedback that we got from our survey,
where it's like feels like a lot of pressure. Like if I'm talking to somebody and then everybody, all eyes on me, almost like you're like, here's an event, everybody's in agreement, we're all just going to go through and be ourselves, right? And it's going to be quick, and it's not going to be as painful as like spending an entire night with somebody who you don't know, So I love that.
And it's not just spending the entire night with somebody you don't know. It's also having all the conversations with your girlfriends, or your guy friends, or your mom. Like, how did it go last night? Tell me about it. Pressure. Like, where it's just like, man, I just don't want the pressure of having to like report or meet somebody else's expectations for my dating life. Like, there's something that's just very like, I don't know, in and out is kind of like drive through, but like it still gets the job done. With this. Maybe that's a crude way of saying it.
I have a question about speed dating, because I've never been to a speed dating event. I don't know what is entailed. Do you like, I know you give obviously a certain amount of time, but do you say, ask about these things? Like, do you give suggestions, or is it just like, just talk? Like, what would that look like if I were to show up?
We've done different styles. So our core product and what Matt was introducing, we have an app. It was a platform. Last month, we turned it into an app. And then we also do the in-person events like we'll be doing at Seek.
It's a really nice app too. Like the onboarding, it was very easy. Took me like 3 minutes, but it had some good, thorough questions that I really appreciated that, allowed me to kind of share a little bit more about myself. It was awesome. Very clean.
Thank you. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Great job, guys. Great job, dev team. Yeah. So on our virtual events, we, at the moment, that is something that we're working on. So sneak peek, but at the moment we do not have any conversation starters baked into that experience. We definitely recommend at the beginning, if you want to have some talking points, totally awesome. If you want to have a Post-it note stuck to your computer or your phone, or, something pulled up to where you can remember, these are the things that I want to ask someone, or these are the things that I want to make sure I share. We encourage that. At some of our in-person events, we do have conversation cards. It just kind of depends on the group, on the size. At Seek, that is a massive event. So no, we give a few prompts here and there whenever we're talking to people at the booth, but we don't have anything formal for them. We definitely encourage everyone to just show up as yourself and just be present. Don't be thinking about, what am I going to say next? Did I go through my list? Did I make it through my 5 questions? We really encourage people to just show up and be.
Yeah, we are. And that's even part of the partnership that we have is we're going to be offering that temperaments assessment at the booth. And so people can take the temperaments assessment, get their sanguine or their choleric or phlegmatic or melancholic button, right?
Yes.
And so you can even wear that to your event if you want, but we're going to have a download that's available for people that's going to have some prompts. What's a good engaging question to ask somebody based on their temperament? And so that's even some homework that you can do ahead of time to just prepare, just enhance the speed dating experience that you get that you guys are going to have at the event. In our conversations, kind of switch gears a little bit here. We've talked about, what was the lack that Candid was seeing in the dating world. You already started to get into like you're behind just a facade. You can hide behind this, and this pulls people out where they actually have to engage in a conversation with a human. But this can often reveal maybe even an insecurity or maybe a lack or of holistic human formation that is there. I know holistic formation is part of your goals and your mission. So that even if you don't find love, you're going to walk away from your experience with Candid as a better person, ready for encounter with other people. Tell us a little bit about your vision for that holistic formation with Candid.
Yeah, you two are a big part of that vision that we have. When we started this and we saw the value of putting people in front of each other and getting people talking again, we realized that A, people were craving it, and then B, some people weren't as comfortable doing it. And that is for no fault of their own, other than we live in a digital world and a digital, dating space now. And so an opportunity that we saw was helping these singles and, people get comfortable talking to the opposite sex. What does that look like? How does that feel? It's okay that it makes me nervous sometimes. Like, these are all normal things. And then also, if I do lack that confidence, or if I do feel like I'm missing some of those tools, where can we send them and how can we help them sharpen, or my husband calls it getting reps. Candid is a place to come get reps and get practice talking to Catholic singles, get practice in the dating space. But the formation piece of how can we supplement and add to your toolkit is really where you guys come in. And we are able to give a little bit of feedback to our users of, if they received matches, if they didn't receive matches, but then hoping that, like we did at Seek last year, to kind of take a turn. But we realized that people were a little bit nervous, to put themselves on the spot. And some of them asked, do you have any resources right now? Date coaching was something that we could do. We have 2 certified girls in our group that we're able to pull some people aside and walk them through, not to the extent that you guys will be able to this year, but kind of what to expect and how to be secure and ready to go, ready to present themselves to people and ready to just go be themselves. And so to round that all out, you guys will be there with us this year and beyond. And we are really excited to offer to our users the services of Metanoia and what you guys do in the coaching space and how you get people's, minds and hearts and postures ready to receive whatever it is or to refine their own skills.
Yeah.
All right.
I love that.
I'm pumped.
And it's very much, I think I was coaching another coach, Hannah, who's going to be one of our coaches there.
Yeah, we have 9 coaches that are going to be at Columbus this year.
Hannah has a dating program called Stop Contracepting Your Dating Life.
I love it.
Yeah, because she was seeing kind of an emotional contraception that was happening with women, kind of like out of self-protection. And I remember her asking, well, I can't like promise people, like, because that's part of what we do is like we help people get results. But like, she's like, I can't promise people a relationship. I said, well, what can you promise people? And like, and what's within their control, right? What's within their locus of control. You can't like go and make a person marry you and like put a gun to their head and make a person marry you.
Please don't.
Right. We don't recommend that. But what you can do is say, I will help you prepare and to receive this and remove all of those blocks that are kind of blocking you from receiving a person into your life. And I love that because like there is such a formation when it comes to being single and dating and putting yourself out there. It's a hard thing to do that. And especially if you're not in the practice of doing it. But there's such virtue that could be built in that process. And like, all right, you walk away, but you also learn how to love somebody, how to not objectify somebody. I've coached so many women in being like, I just want kind of like, there's this thought of like almost going to the boyfriend store and go finding a boyfriend. I'm like, wait, okay. It's about loving the person in front of you, So yeah, I just love that. I think it's such a opportunity to grow in human formation in such a real life, like immediate way.
Growing your capacity for an authentic encounter with a person.
Yes.
And when I spoke at the National Catholic Singles Conference last year, that was one of the topics I spoke on. What if dating was less about finding a romantic interest and more about opening yourself up to receive the person that God puts in front of you and just allowing that to be a formative encounter? I remember a story, Erin, of where you were, it was before we met. Yep. And there's kind of like, I almost cringe a little bit, like telling this story.
Right before we met.
Because it's like, I appreciate this guy, but it's like, this is my girl, right? But there was a guy that you met that there wasn't necessarily a romantic attraction that was there, at least on your part, she admits. But he was so engaging. He asked great questions that you walked away transformed by it, not necessarily seeking out like, I need to get this guy's number, thank God, but like actually being formed in the process. And I think if we can approach even a speed dating or any sort of relationship, not as something that's like, okay, this is going to help me reach my goal of having the spouse or having the fiance, because then I have permission to feel better or think better about myself and maybe have a thought of I've arrived or I'm done with, you've delivered me from the pain of the discernment world.
Yeah.
Leaving that to the side and being able to, okay, how can I just open myself to an encounter with this person? That's what we want to help people when they come to coaching with us at Seek. Yeah. We want to help people prepare and open themselves up to that. Because when you're open to that, it's a win every single time.
Yeah.
That was all, there was so much there that was so beautiful. And to touch on what you were saying too, a lot of things that we see, or a lot of times we see in the specifically Catholic dating space, it comes from a good place, right? Like, I don't want to ask a girl out until I know that I'm ready to be a boyfriend, or I don't want to say yes to a date if I don't know if I want to say yes to a second date. those are problems in themselves, but they come from such a good place. They come from a prudent, people trying to be really honoring of the other person and not wanting to lead someone on.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, we have to be able to date in a healthy way. And that's something that I'm excited for you guys to be there for. Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
Because I shared a little bit about our formation and what that looks like with you guys, but can we talk about Seek and exactly what people can expect at our booth with Metanoia? And I'm really excited about it. So basically we have a booth together, if we haven't made that clear. And last year we were able to offer the bare minimum of assisting you to prep for this speed dating event, which, by the way, we had 2,100 people. We had 3,500 sign up. As you said, the fire marshal was called, which was I shouldn't say that was a goal of mine, because that's probably, there's a statute somewhere. But anyway, so this year we heard you guys last year. This year we will have people on site from Metanoia that will be at our Candid booth, ready to help you prep for our speed dating event that's on day 4 of the conference. So do you guys want to go into a little bit of what people can expect, or?
Yeah, I can give the logistics. And so first of all, we're going to be inviting you to take the temperaments assessment. There's going to be an opportunity for you to do it. Scan the QR code, or you can just go to catholiccoaching.com in our free resources area. You can take that right now and prep ahead of time. But then we'll be able to kind of explain what does it look like, or we'll have the digital guide that you can download that gives you some insights on what that means and what are your superpowers for how you show up in the dating world. What are some of what's your kryptonite? What are your struggles that you have? Not so that we can put you in a box, but rather we can just help you to grow in some awareness of these things. And that's what temperaments and different assessments help us to do. They help us to grow in awareness so that we can, in humility, start to work to grow in some areas of where we might be lacking, but also to leverage some of the amazing superpowers that God has given us and be more intentional with those.
Yeah.
Also, the plan to just kind of come by, we'll be doing some quick hip pocket classes on really how to maintain in that disposition for encounter when you're actually sitting down in that speed dating event. Okay. And then also there's going to be a sign-up sheet. Okay. And we'll have coaches that are available at different points, different times throughout Seek. And when you see an open slot, we're going to have a half-hour interval, about 20 minutes to a half-hour interval, where you can sit down, just go and step to the side and do a one-on-one with one of our coaches. They'll have some little infographics to kind of explain to you some of the like what mindset coaching is all about. And how thoughts and emotions and our actions and behaviors kind of interact with one another. We'll be able to explain things like, how do you step into those things that are what we say in our locus of control that lead us to a place of feeling very empowered when we go into a dating situation, or those things that are outside of our locus of control where we can honor those. We can really respect the person that's put in front of us. And so you're going to walk away even from that 30 minutes, even if it's just some teaching that's going on, you're going to walk away better and more prepared for this event. But we really want to make that time for coaches to really encounter you and identify, like, what are some of those subconscious blocks that might be there that until they're dealt with are going to like make you feel perhaps sheepish or hesitant or nervous or anxious showing up to a speed dating event. And how do we dampen some of those things down? So maybe you're not feeling anxious, you're just feeling a little bit of butterflies, right? Which is normal, right? Or without feeling afraid, you're just like, maybe you're looking forward to it or you're excited about that. Yeah.
I would also add in, like, even just removing some of those mindset blocks, like, this probably won't work again. Like that's a thought, and that is going to affect how you show up. It's going to affect what you look for, your reticular activating system, like, because you're going to look for things to support that narrative. And so you are going to show up differently, versus being like, who knows what God has in store tonight, with this event. Even if I walk away from this having a great conversation, I win. Like, that's like winning thoughts versus the type that block you. Just to give you some examples, I know that I probably would have had that thought this isn't going to work again, you know?
Yeah.
And it would have blocked me in the past. I wish I would have had a coach, just like a free coach to coach me before some event like this. So
yeah.
that's just an example.
I think one of the common thoughts that can often come up at these events that puts a lot of pressure, remember we talked about pressure, that can put a lot of pressure on the person. And we actually have a drill that's dedicated to this. We have a whole Catholic Mindset Coach certification program, right? That's why we have, it's not just Erin and I that are going to be there. We have people that we've trained and we've certified, and the same stuff that we've learned along the way and kind of learned from other programs, and grounded it in a real Catholic ethic. One of the thoughts that I think can really be a block, but it seems like it's helpful, is I need this to work, or I need to find somebody, or I have to find somebody. And even so, what a mindset coach approach would do with that, Erin, I'll turn it over to you. Like, if like how would you approach that?
Well, I would ask them, how do you feel when you think that I need to whatever find somebody? And they would be like, pressure, most likely. There would be like some type of pressure, some type of
urgency, but
also powerlessness, and like a desperation, honestly. Yeah. And then that would affect how they would be showing up, going out there. And so really I would work them through that thought. I would probably just do a quick reframe where it's just like, hey, like you get to choose the type of wording that you use whenever somebody uses, I need to, I have to. I go, actually, the truth is that you're choosing to. And when you say that, now your brain wants to go to why, all the reasons you have chosen to do this, because nobody is forcing you to do this. But even just stepping into that free will agency, stepping into that empowering place, and really kind of returning back to the original reason why they're choosing to do this. And so, but you have to get them into that place. They're going from powerlessness to empowered. And then you could be like, okay, and how else can we kind of move around there? Because there's probably some like, I don't want to feel disappointed again. There's probably some of that fear going on in the background. So some
self-protection, but we definitely like, you brought up desperation. We've probably all been in a situation where we're sitting across from somebody where they're desperate for this relationship to work. Right. And how does that feel? Right. Do we really want to bring that kind of energy into the conversation, even if it's a 2-3 minute speed dating conversation?
It's creepy. Right? It's creepy energy.
It's a little cringy. Yeah. So like, what is a way to like show up where it's just like, I'm just owning myself. Like, this is my desires. This is like, I feel I'm in total freedom, which is now mirroring back to the other person. They have permission to be completely free themselves.
Yeah. Taylor, what do you see as the biggest struggles of like Catholic singles? Like, what do you like? Are there any lies that you see consistently? You said that first event that you did was like really breaking that first lie, like there's nobody out there, which I love that was kind of a goal of yours. But what else do you see? Yeah, great question. And then, wait, before I answer that, can I just say, I was sitting here built like the pressure in my body in the best way was just like building up as you guys were talking. What other place do you get to come to a conference of 20,000 Catholic singles, have coaching about something where, you're either going to go here and really talk to religious or you will get married. So we have a place for you to come, and Matt and Erin are going to be there with their team. They're going to offer resources to help you. And then we have a place for you to come and apply those 2 days later. Like, I'm so excited. This is going to be so much fun. And even just hearing you guys and like the detail that you have, I mean, this is what you do. Like, this is how you help change hearts and minds and lives ultimately. But the care and the detail that you put into this and that you will have with your team for these people and these people who are coming to seek, I'm blown away already, and I'm so excited. So I just we can't just brush over what you guys just did without recognizing like what we're about to be stepping into. So thank you for letting me say that.
Thanks, Taylor.
And thank you. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Something that we see, the pressure, you've hit on that several times, and it's real. The expectations that we put on ourselves, which I guess maybe is a form of pressure. The lie that I'm here, I'm following
the rules, or I'm following like the stuff, the commandments of the Lord, like, what I think will get me to my spouse. And then once I complete those, that the Lord will just drop somebody in front of me, is maybe one of the biggest lies. I think I might have felt victim to that. Like, I think I at one point thought that too. Like, I'm here, I'm living my life, I'm, going to what I'm supposed to be going to. I'm going to work, I'm going to, dinner, I'm going home, and the Lord will just plop somebody in front of me, and it will take no real effort or no adjusting on my end. That's something that we see. The idea that I have arrived and I'm just waiting now, or once I meet my spouse, then I will have arrived and then there will be nothing else for me to do. I'll just ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
I might have also felt victim to that being a bit older when I got married, maybe thinking that once I met my wonderful husband, that everything, would be great. And it is great. But, there are other facets of your life that, trials and challenges that come up, that if you date well and you learn how to wait well and you learn how to just be with the Lord, that can transfer into, things that might come up down the line. So the lie definitely that somebody is already, ready and just waiting. Like, I'm just waiting, Lord. I've done all the work that I need to do, and I'm perfect, and I'm just here, and it's everybody else that has a problem.
Yes.
We see that just to be fun, to be fun. That's something that we see. And then, just like, if I say yes to this date with you, and I can speak, maybe I can only speak for females here. If someone asks me on a date and I say yes, but I don't know if I want to go on another date after that, so I just don't even say yes to the first date, when maybe it wasn't even that serious to begin with. Maybe this man wasn't even asking me, hey, do you want to go on 1, 2, 3 dates? He just wanted to go to coffee. And I should just be able to receive that and accept that and go to coffee, and not have the expectation that I have to know after our coffee date what the rest of our lives will look like.
So we can kind of speak to this we even started to see this come up in our dating survey that we put out recently. And it's the sense that you are responsible for the other person's expectations
and emotions,
their emotions. And so it's like, I'm responsible if they feel bad about this. I'm responsible if they feel disappointed that I don't want the second date. And so therefore, like, this act of desiring to protect them, I can see like where there's some good intention that's there, but it's also based on kind of a premise that's a lie. Right. And the lie, and this is what we get into when we talk about locus of control. Yeah. We'll get into this when it comes up, because it will come up in our coaching sessions at Seek. The lie is that you actually have control over somebody else's emotions. We can make impressions on other people, but ultimately
they get to choose.
They get to choose how they're going to think about your wanting to have the second date or not wanting to have the second date, and therefore how they're going to feel about that. Maybe, and so that's their choice. When we can give them back that responsibility, which is theirs. I mean, God doesn't even intrude on this, right? He honors the boundaries of our ability to kind of choose our own perspectives, choose our own, the way that we're going to respond to situations. When we can give that back to the other person, we enter into a more ordered relationship with that person. And so when the relationship is ordered, there's a freedom to go where the Lord is directing it to go.
Yeah. It's more loving, actually, because God doesn't even try to change our emotions. Like, that's the beauty of it. It's free will. They're going to think whatever they want to think anyway.
I love that.
So like, sorry, no, you can't change other people's thoughts about you. Like, they're going to think what they have free will. Darn it. Right. But like, that is God's frustration with us too, I'm sure. We're choosing things that are not helpful for us, for him, whatever.
And he lets us, because it's a loving thing to do. And
so it does really model the most beautiful form of love, which is allowing people to have their own thoughts about you. And honestly, if you follow that same trajectory of that principle of locus of control, like what's within your control, what's not, what's your responsibility, what's not, even the concept of leading someone on, you're like, wait, is that even a thing? Can you do that? Or is it the person who is interpreting these actions? Now, obviously somebody can lie with their words and even kind of sort of lie with their actions, but there is the other person's free will involved too, the person who's receiving this and their interpretation of that. So that's what we're saying when you really understand that, you really step into your power of your free will, which is it's freedom.
And invite the other to step into theirs.
Yeah.
Which is good for the relationship. Freedom is good for a relationship.
Yes, please.
This is so good. I feel like I feel like I'm in a session with you guys. This is so good. And that's also I obviously married, but that can apply to several different parts of life as well.
Parenting, work, spouses,
all of it.
Priests and in their with their parishioners, all of it.
Every relationship,
any relationship, even prayer.
Yeah,
like it's think of the surrender prayer. I think it is right.
Yep.
Lord, help me to understand the things that are in my control and the things that I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference, or like something along those lines. It's locus of control is just a very practical way of just understanding, how to live that out in a very honest human way.
Beautiful.
Thank
you.
Yeah, so those are great thoughts that I heard. Another thing that I heard was this, you were talking about how like I've arrived, that being like, I will arrive. And I do see that in the form of the lie where it's like, I don't need, like kind of like it was a combination of what you were saying, like get me out of this like discernment, like this crappy place that I'm in, get me out of here. And then like I've arrived. And the one thing that we always are coaching people on is like, no. You need to learn this lesson now, because all of this stuff will come up and be more magnified when you're married, actually. Yeah. So this is
more painful
because you can't get away. You can't keep blaming them, or you'll just be resentful and miserable in your marriage. So
yeah, that is so good and true. And I think that was one of the things that I like talking back about that time after my engagement, and really just having to sit in that and be there and learn how to wait well, and like be with the cross. I think maybe back in that time of my life, you think that that's just, once I get through this cross, then I'm smooth sailing from here.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really valuable too.
Yeah. God is not withholding anything from us. And that's even another lie that comes with like God's holding back on my spouse. It's like, no, God is forming you. I always love to go to the example in scripture where we're in book of Genesis. God looks at Adam and says, man, it's not good for the man to be alone. Like, let's make him a fitting partner. And so what does he do? He creates Eve. No, first he creates a bunch of animals. He creates a bunch of unfit partners and says, name these things. Come to understand the relationship that you are with this cow, and with this ant, and with this, grizzly bear over here. And it's going to reveal to you something more about who you are, and therefore the perfect complement that you have. Because I don't want to put the perfect complement in front of you until you're ready to receive this person. And so I want to open this time of just longing that's there. And John Paul II, as he contemplates this in his theology of the body, he talks about this longing that Adam is experiencing, such that when he completes the task, he names all the animals, and he's come to know that he's alone, that he's alone in the world. There's something that's different about him. John Paul II calls this original solitude. Then God puts him into a deep sleep. And notice God doesn't say, okay, Adam, get your hands dirty and just sculpt the perfect complement for you. Build Eve, right? He doesn't do that. Adam goes into this perfect posture of receptivity, this sleep, right? It's perfectly passive and receptive. And John Paul II says how in this deep sleep, he wonders how Adam is contemplating the beautiful bride, such that when God wakens him and he sees Eve before him, he has eyes to see her And he can see that everything that he's longing for in her form and everything about her is this beautiful compliment that God has given to him. He hasn't had to manipulate or grasp at it or create it himself. He's left behind the checklist, so to speak, and surrendered that to God. And because God's like, hey, your checklist, got it, beautiful. Surrender that over to me because I've got something way better for you than just the checklist. That's what I see. If we can approach dating from that, where the Lord is continuing to form me, there's something that's just, it's just not like, there's still a pain, there's still a longing, but there's a sweetness to it as well. And there's a hope.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Taylor, that time after your engagement was broken off, how did you said that you came really close to the Lord in that time, but could you speak a little bit more about that? Because I do believe that there are people who might have a thought, gosh, is my picker off? I just keep picking the wrong people, or how do I know if this is the right person, or how do I know this is the wrong person? Is there anything you could speak to that? Any clarity that you came to after, in retrospect, looking back on it?
Absolutely. When I say I became close, like I said, we were raised Catholic. I always had the sacraments. I felt like my faith was always the most important thing to me. But in that agony, if you will, I felt like I was able to understand him so much better. And we spent a lot of time growing up in an adoration chapel. My mom would always take us there to pray for my dad. He converted when I was 18. He came to mass with us, but he wasn't Catholic. He was Protestant, and then converted. And so I was very familiar with Adoration Chapel. And after that time that you're speaking of, that was the only place I could go, because it was like, I felt like he was the only one that could really understand. He was the only one that saw everything, that heard everything, that was with every decision leading up to that happening. And I just felt like, you're the only one right now that gets me. So being able to be close to him, and I would just go sit there and I'd say, I'm here, you know what I need. If I had something to say, I would say it. And if not, I would just ask him to just work on my heart. I don't even know what that looks like. I don't know what that means. I can't see it, but please just mend my heart back together, but make sure that it's for you and exactly who you want Taylor to be. So there was a lot of that going on. And then you asked kind of a second part to that question that I wanted to make sure that I touched on. And that was...
How do you know if your picker's off?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. Well, so then that kind of came into play whenever I started dating Logan, my husband, because I was terrified. And I really, quite frankly, I wouldn't advise this, but after I was ready to date again, I had a very short fuse. I was like, I'm not wasting any time. I'm not going to, date someone just to date them. I want to be very intentional. And so that came in the form of me asking really hard questions right off the bat, and just really wanting to get down to it, which thank goodness, the Lord, like you said, he made the perfect man for me. He was all for it. He was like, let's go, whatever you got, ask it.
High achiever.
So I think, there did have to be some trust built back with myself and back with God, honestly. Because I did, once I realized very quickly that I think this is him, I think I've met him, and how do I know? How can I trust myself? I do think that the people around you are really important, especially for me. Again, it's specifically speaking from my situation. I trusted my family, and I really valued their input. I don't want to say that maybe blanket, but they're close to me. They love me. They saw me in all, in the good and the bad. So really asking for their advice, am I seeing this? Is this what you're seeing? Trusting the people around you, I think, is important. I think when we shut down everyone's opinions, we can blind ourselves, but then also I think there's a freedom. And I was also very protective of my relationship with Logan when I met him, that, okay, I want to make sure that I know what this is before I bring it forth to everyone. And so, but by the time that happened, I was pretty sure, that he was the one. And so there was a lot of that with, just in prayer and walking with our Lord, And then also, again, maybe this is just specific, but the peace that I had when I was dating him and knowing the contrast when that was not right? Like I was able to look at the two situations and not compare, but say, okay, this option was filled with a lot of fear, probably some anxiety, and I didn't, know how that came to form. I was fearful for like the moment and the future. So I know looking back, like it doesn't make sense, Taylor, why would you get married if you're fearful, like for all of these things, but you're in it and you just, if like you're in it and you love this person, you're in love. But then looking towards the future, it's so unknown. And I did not have peace about that. But when I met Logan and I was dating him, I was very secure in who he was in our relationship. And the fear of the future wasn't so much what's going to happen. It was, okay, I have this man that I know is going to be next to me, and that's good. Now we can look towards the future and I don't have to be afraid of what's to come because I have him to do it with. So even if it's, something that's unknown, it's okay to be kind of scared of that in a way, because it's the unknown. But being so secure in the partner that I have to walk into the unknown with, and that he loves me unconditionally and I love him and we will do it together, was a totally different situation than, I think this is right. I'm here in this place. I'm nervous, but I can't really name about what, like the difference in the peace that I was able to have, I would say was a really big teller. So your picker is not broken if you're experiencing either one of those, because those are in themselves, answers for you. Maybe you just don't want to accept them. So I would say that it's really hard.
Thanks for sharing that.
It is. It's so hard. And it reminds me a lot of, with Matt, I didn't have like long-term boyfriends before Matt. Matt was like really my first like long-term like official boyfriend, but I had like flings and I had crushes and all of this stuff. And really what you described, I feel like kind of, I can relate to that. When I met him, it was like the way I describe it to people, I'm like, it's hard because it's not like sexy, but it's like, it was very sober. Like it felt like a sober decision. And it was like, there was also a familiarity, which brought that trust in. I remember reading in some book, because I read so many books on like single and like dating and stuff. And it was in one of the books, and they said, make sure as a woman you respect the man. If you don't admire them, if you don't respect them, like now, like at the beginning, that's not going to, like, they will pick up on it. And, so that was another thing. Yeah, that's so true. The adoration.
Did you admire me?
I did. Do
you still admire me?
Yeah.
Words of affirmation are my love language here, folks. Thank you. As we kind of start to wrap up here, Taylor, tell us why we should be excited to come to Seek and
Columbus,
come to Columbus. Yep. If you're going to all the other locations, too bad, so sad, right? Because the party's going to be in Columbus this year at the Candid booth. What can people expect to see when they come by our booth?
Booth 806, by the way. Ooh, 806 to 811.
Cool. I'll write that down.
You should be excited. We have like a two-packed punch event for you. Like we have prep leading up to day 4, which is Metanoia at our booth. We'll be hosting, like we did last year, our live date games. So that will be coming. We'll have a little schedule for you that we'll be posting on social media. But Metanoia will be there, and they will be able to live in person help you with all of these things that you're scrolling your Instagram and you're scrolling your TikTok and you think you're getting this advice, right? Like this little, here's 60 seconds on why you're this or that or whatever. We like throw that away. We have real life in person help and support for you to be able to get the real answers to all of the questions that you have, all of the insecurities or frustrations or maybe apprehensions that you have going into the event. And then we're going to give you a place to apply it all and give you an opportunity to go be you, to show up as yourself. And I guess I can. This episode airs next week. We have some fun. We have some fun things coming this week. Actually, it's Thanksgiving week from last year's event. And I don't want to give it away, but there are some people whose people whose lives will be changing on Thanksgiving from the speed dating event that we did last year.
Oh, so cool.
So just if that gives you a little, like it worked. Can confirm it worked.
Teasing it out. No pressure to the possible people that you're talking about.
No
that
I know. Sorry,
now
guys.
have to go through with it.
Well, technically it's live right now. Technically it would be next week. So they will have already gone through.
We're good. Hey, then congratulations
To those
for making a decision.
Guys, to all of you. Congratulations to all of you. And also the goal doesn't have to be, there's going to be a wide variety of age that we filter for. By the way, we're not going to pair you up with, if you're 20 in college, you're not going to be meeting someone who's 30, young professional. But the goal doesn't have to be to walk out of this with a ring. In fact, please don't make that your goal.
No, don't.
Encounter, transformative encounters.
And on the flip side too, I think kind of the general theme of our discussion today is like fortitude. Like there's when we think we're going into a dating relationship and we don't need any fortitude, any courage, or any type of kind of like a stretching of some sort. Like, yes, we will be disappointed because we're not showing up fully.
Yeah.
So even having that expectation that it's going to require a little stretch. It's going to be like going to the gym, you're going to
get some reps
to the emotions gym or the love gym, if you will.
Yep.
It's going to stretch you a little bit. So, just to even have that, I think is enough of a thing to walk away with from this. Like, oh, I did this scary thing and I'm still alive and I'm actually stronger because of it. So. Yeah.
And we're going to you can be part of breaking the world record again. So
let's do it.
We did break it. We didn't have Guinness there. They have quite a hefty fee and we are, a small business. So they weren't there, but we got a bigger room this year. So we'll have a larger room to fit more people, more singles. So
beautiful.
We'll see you guys there.
Awesome. Okay. Help us violate fire code regulations again.
We should
not that. Maybe no.
We should make a trophy with like a fire on it. And
we're gonna celebrate it.
Circle and a line
until we have to pay a real fine. Yeah. Good. Taylor, thank you so much for being on.
You, guys.
This is awesome.
I'm so excited to be with you in just a few weeks.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah,
That's
it's coming fast.
Wild.
It's gonna be great.
Cool.
Yes. And come by our booth, our shared booth, people.
Yeah, Candid booth.
There's so many resources that you guys can just get just by hanging out at the booth. So,
yeah. It's a Candid booth with a Metanoia enhancement. That's how I see it.
Yes.
You guys are front and center. Cool. All right. Thanks, folks. See you at Seek. Hope this has helped you to improve your dating life. Hey, thanks for sticking with us in the Catholic Coaching Podcast. If you like what you heard,
please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again.